Thank you very much for your very kind words of welcome. And it's really an honor and privilege for me to spend a few moments with you this morning. I'm delighted to participate in the forecast on Latin America and the Caribbean Conference. The Association of American Chambers of Commerce, the organizers of this event, have within its ranks persons and companies who are adept at marketing. Today, I want to assume a similar role. I'm here to present my country, Guyana, as the hemisphere's foremost investment destination. Before I do so, however, let me express my appreciation to the American Chamber of Commerce for its interest in Guyana's economic development. This ascension has soared over the past 2 months and represents an overwhelming vote of confidence in Guyana's future. My primary task today is to have a conversation with you in order to convince you as to why you should be setting your sights on investment opportunities in Guyana. Guyana is about to become the investment colossus of the Caribbean. It will become the region's most exciting investment destination. Now, therefore, is the right time to be doing business in Guyana. Despite the economic problems caused by the coronavirus pandemic, our country's prospects have never been brighter or more promising. I wish to highlight three principal reasons why Guyana is a prime investment destination. Firstly, the country is about to leapfrog its growth and development. This will spawn untold investment opportunities. Secondly, its location and trade and investors agreement facilitate access to key markets. Investing in Guyana, therefore, carries market access advantages. Thirdly, the country has an attractive investment regime, which is being further refashioned to become more investor friendly. I wish now to elaborate on these three comparative advantages. Guyana is now an oil producing country. This is our first year of production. Oil production is projected to continue well beyond the next 30 years. Upstream and downstream investments and the jobs and revenues which these will generate will catapult our economy to a higher level. This year, Guyana's economy is expected to grow by almost 50%, on account mainly of the startup of oil production. The International Monetary Fund estimates that the average annual real GDP growth over the next 4 years will be in excess of 13%. Guyana, however, is not hitching all its wagons on oil. Guyana is rich also in timber, gold, diamonds, bauxite, manganese, sugar, tourism. Its agricultural potential is phenomenal. It is believed to possess rare and precious minerals, another potential bonanza. More than 80% of Guyana is covered with forests. These forests provide environmental services to the world. As we argued before, these forests are worth more standing than being felled. Guyana, therefore, is not hedging its future only on oil. It is reviving the traditional economic sectors in order to ensure a more diversified and resilient economy and to avoid both the resource curse and Dutch disease. The revival of the traditional sectors will also require significant investment. Guyana's impending economic transformation will see a rapid increase in the rate of growth and aggregate national output. It will also set in train the modernization of the country's infrastructure and foster increased technological transfers and promote innovation. New poles of economic growth will emerge to balance and diversify the economy, including in manufacturing and services. Modernizing will ensure a more competitive and resilient economy. My government is committed to ensuring that our country is modernized in the fastest possible time. We require investment, including private investment, to drive this process of economic transformation. Access to markets is also an important aspect of our development. Guyana offers geostrategic importance to investors. Its trade relations and agreements, regional, multilateral, and bilateral, allow access to major markets and provide protection for investors. Guyana is a signatory to a number of trade, investment, and economic agreements, which facilitate market access. I want to cite a few examples to illustrate the benefits which investors can derive from these agreements. The Caribbean single market provides duty-free access for locally produced goods into the Caribbean. The Caribbean Basin Recovery Act allows for duty-free access of eligible goods, including textiles, energy-related products, agricultural products, and processed foods into the United States. The Caribbean-Canadian Trade Agreement provides non-reciprocal duty-free access for eligible Caribbean goods into Canada. The CARIFORUM European Union Economic Partnership Agreement is a major trade, investment, and development treaty which promotes access of regional goods into the European market. The Guyana-Brazil Partial Scope Agreement fosters trade flows by offering tariff preferences for Guyanese goods entering the Brazilian market. The CARICOM United States Trade and Investment Framework Agreement is aimed at the long-term development, expansion, and diversification of trade in products and services, and at promoting and ensuring an attractive investment climate. And the Growth in America's Memorandum of Understanding was signed 2 weeks ago during the visit of U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo. This MOU seeks to promote greater U.S. investments in Guyana's energy, ICT, and infrastructure sectors. The third attraction which Guyana holds for investors is its investment regime. We already offer generous fiscal incentives. Investors are permitted the unbridled repatriation of their profits. The country has an open foreign currency market, low levels of inflation, and a stable financial system. But do not take my word alone. Recently, the U.S. State Department 2020 Investment Climate Statement on Guyana notes the following. Guyana's constitution specifically protects the rights of foreigners to own property or land in Guyana. Foreign and domestic firms possess the right to establish and own businesses, enterprises, and engage in all forms of remunerative activity. Private entities are governed by the Companies Act and are free to acquire or dispose of interests in accordance with the law. Foreign and domestic firms have the right to establish and own business enterprises and engage in all forms of activity. The National Assembly recently passed the country's 2020 national budget. The budget identifies a number of measures which will be pursued to improve the ease of doing business, reduce investment and production costs, and enhance export competitiveness. Measures to improve competitiveness include tax concession on agro-processing, cold storage, and packaging, the removal of VAT on exports and allowing exporters, including those in the fishing, rice, and timber industry, to reclaim VAT input. Measures to reduce investment and production costs include the removal of VAT on building and construction material, electricity, and water, the removal of VAT on fertilizers, agrochemicals, pesticide, and key inputs into the poultry sector, and the zero rating of the poultry industry. My government is also pursuing policies and plans to improve investment promotion. A new chief executive officer and board have been appointed to the Guyana Office of Investment, an agency established to encourage investment and promote exports. The Guyana Office for Investment will focus on increasing foreign direct investment and expanding local investment, including through matching local businesses with foreign investors and vice versa. The 2020 budget also lays the groundwork for attracting investments. The country's rapid growth is expected to spawn significant investment opportunities in oil and gas, infrastructural development, energy, agriculture, forestry, manufacturing, services, information communication technology, and tourism. I wish to identify some of these investment opportunities. Investments in petroleum. Guyana has a growing oil industry, which provides numerous opportunities for investors. The scale of these investments represents a major business opportunity, especially for businesses involved in this sector and those providing support services. The Liza Phase 1 field development involves an estimated US 3.5 billion. Liza Phase 2 field development is projected on more than US 6 billion. My government has just approved a permit for the Payara field development plan. This permit paves the way for the injection of another US 9 billion in the sector. Apart from their direct impact, these investments will provide spin-off effects to the local economy and for local businesses. Guyana's physical infrastructure is being revolutionized. A number of transformative infrastructural projects will be undertaken. These include the completion of the East Coast Demerara Highway, the resurfacing of the East Coast Railway embankment from Sherry Street to Enmore, the remodeling of the Linden to Lethem Highway in order to complete the section between Linden and Boura Hill. Work will also commence on a road link between Ogle and Diamond. A 4-lane highway will be developed between Georgetown and Timeri. A road link between Porica and Rockstone will open new lands and provide a link to Bartica. A new bridge will be constructed across Demerara River and is slated to be completed within 4 years. A deepwater harbor, the dredging of the Demerara Harbor, and the construction of an all-weather road link to Brazil remain part of the country's plan. This, as you will be aware, are essential development for a cross-sectorial growth of our economy. These infrastructural development and investment are linked to economic expansion, opening up of new markets, connecting different countries. For example, the deepwater port and the road link is aimed at connecting Brazil with Guyana, and the bridge link to Suriname, opening up the potential for great and expanded market opportunities. All of the transformational links and projects are geared towards economic expansion and improvement in the livelihood prospects of Guyanese. We are seeking investors to develop a mix of energy projects in order to generate an additional 400 megawatt of installed capacity. We shall be installing a natural gas plant, pursuing hinterland electrification, including through the provision of mini-grids for large hinterland communities. The Amila Falls hydroelectric project will recommence. Guyana looks forward to partnering with the private sector, including foreign investors, to these and other energy projects. As you can see, our aim is to ensure that all Guyanese have access. That would reduce inequality, open up new opportunities, and ensure that all Guyanese are involved in the development of our country and benefit from the prospects of development. Investment in agriculture, mining, and forestry and manufacturing. This is the next area I wish to turn my attention to. Guyana intends to realize its dream of becoming the breadbasket of the Caribbean. And more than this, we have already commenced discussions with various stakeholders in the Middle East in developing our halal industry standards so that we can benefit from that large market through investments and new market opportunity. To do this, we have to modernize our agriculture, we have to expand it into mega farms, and we have to create and motivate an environment in which large-scale investors in agriculture would see Guyana as a destination of great prospect and opportunity. We are open to investment to expand the agricultural production, including in rice, sugar, and livestock production. land rents and drainage and irrigation charges, which were increased, has already been reduced, so to remove the burden on farmers. Our intention is to give farmers and give the agricultural sector more incentives, fiscal incentives, give them more tax incentives and allowances that would allow the farmers to grow, that would allow agriculture to graduate into mega farms, increasing our production and allowing us to become more competitive. Agricultural diversification will witness a renewed focus on coconut, aquaculture, horticulture, and poultry. We have already zero-rated the poultry industry. As an impetus to boosting the agricultural, forestry, and mining sectors, we have already restored the zero rating of machinery for these sectors. The mining sector is another important sector. The mining sector will benefit from reduced capital costs, the upgrading of mining roads, and the reversion to a 2% royalty rate. With cheaper energy, our manufacturing sector will expand and become more competitive. We have already provided fiscal concessions to boost the competitiveness of manufacturing. We now have to train our human resources, and with cheaper energy, manufacturing will become another competitive area for Guyana. ICT is another important area in our development plan. Enlarging Guyana's digital footprint is crucial to economic competitiveness and the development of the services sector. As announced in the budget, we'll be expanding the country's information communication technology sector portfolio to ensure that it is accessible and affordable to every household. The pandemic has highlighted the critical importance of e-education. We intend to seek investments, private and public, to promote greater ICT learning in schools. We have already removed VAT on cell phones. Last week, we liberalized the telecommunications sector. This will not only allow for cheaper and improved telecommunication services and increase competition, but will also facilitate massive investment in the development of new ICT services within our country. Tourism is not only of great potential, but tourism has a bright and prosperous future. The tourism sector has been identified as a major economic growth pole. Unfortunately, the pandemic has adversely affected the sector, resulting in its contraction and the loss of hundreds of jobs. We are going to revive the sector. Government is seeking private investors to reboot this sector. We welcome new players into the industry and will offer incentives to catalyze its development. We are interested in having 4 new branded hotels in Guyana over the next 5 years. These will have to be primarily private sector ventures. The Latam Aerodrome on the border with Brazil will be developed into the international airport as part of our drive to boost ecotourism and adventure tourism. There is also considerable scope for public-private partnership in the housing sector. We're committed to building within the next 5 years 5,000 turnkey homes. We plan over the next 5 years to contribute 50,000 house lots, which we expect to create a boom in the home construction sector. Guyana is on the move. We are accelerating development. And I said 5,000 homes earlier, the construction of 5,000 homes annually, which is 25,000 homes over the next 5 years. Guyana is brimming with confidence about its country's future. However, we recognize that public investment by itself would not be adequate to drive our country's future plans. Guyana needs foreign direct investment to drive growth on its transformative agenda. It requires critical skills to boost its human resources base. It needs public-private partnership to implement key transformative projects. It needs the transfer of technology, which comes with foreign direct investment. We welcome foreign investment. We are eager to do business with the rest of the world, including the United States. We are enthusiastic in attracting investment, including through public-private partnerships and through the partnerships between foreign and local companies. My message to you today, therefore, is Guyana is ready to do business. Guyana will become the investment capital of the region. We assure you that when you come here, you will not want to leave. I invite all of you, therefore, to explore the business opportunity which abound in Guyana. Before I close, I want to assure you that the challenges we had over the last 5 months in ensuring democracy was protected has indeed caused questions to be asked. But I want you to reflect on the will of the Guyanese people. The Guyanese people stood strong and ensured, with international support, that democracy won and the rule of law won. When the people are on the side of democracy and the rule of law, we are heading into a good direction. Thank you very much.